Welcome back. In today's video, I'm going to talk about the RRSP catch-up strategy, or the RRSP gross-up strategy, as it's sometimes referred to. If you watched my video on the RRSPs, you'll know that it's a fantastic account if you're a high income earner, because all of your contributions that you make into the account, you get the tax back on those contributions. I've helped a few people that are getting older now and actually have never contributed to their RRSP before, and this can lead to having a lot of room in your RRSP. For example, if you've been earning, say, $100,000 for the last 20 years, this actually means that you have $360,000 of contribution room in your RRSP account. And people will often be overwhelmed by this fact, and $360,000 makes them feel like they're way behind and they need to try to catch up, and I tell them it's not a big deal. There's a financial saying that says that yesterday was the best time to invest, but the second best time is today. So as long as they are starting to think about investing, that's a fantastic thing that they're doing. But when I do help people in this situation, they're higher income earners, they have a lot of contribution room in their RRSPs, I will often recommend the RRSP catch-up strategy for these people. Now, some of you watching this video will be familiar with borrowing to invest, and a lot of the banks will have RRSP loans, and there's certain tax advantages to these types of loans. I'm not going to get into that very deep in this video, but here's an example of an RRSP loan from RBC. So you can see here that if you borrow $5,000 to contribute into your RRSP, the loan rate right now is 6.45, and borrowing to invest made a lot more sense in the low interest rate environment that we had for years before. But now that interest rates are a little higher, it can be harder to justify this strategy. You can see that your monthly payments are about $440 in order to pay off that $5,000 in 1 year. The difference with the RRSP gross-up strategy is that you'll actually borrow money, but for a very, very short amount of time, maybe 1 month, maybe 2 months before you pay off the entire lump sum. So let's see how this RRSP catch-up strategy works. So let's say you're in the, say, 50% tax bracket. I don't know if there's a 50% tax bracket. I don't think any province has one that's exactly 50%, but I'm just going to use 50% for easy math purposes. And let's say you have contributed $10,000 over the year, or you have $10,000 as a lump sum to put into your RRSP, say in February. And so this means that you know that you're going to be getting $5,000 back, because 50% of $10,000 is $5,000. So if you put in the $10,000 before the March 1st deadline or the February 29th deadline, when you file your taxes in March or April, whenever you get your tax refund, you're going to get $5,000 back. So what you can do is, since you know you're going to get $5,000 back at tax time, borrow $5,000 from the bank. You know you're going to get $5,000 back. So if you borrow $5,000 right now, you know when you get your tax refund, you can just put a lump sum down on it. But here's the beauty. Let's say you take that $5,000 you just borrowed from the bank and you put it into your RRSP before the RRSP deadline. So now you're entitled to an extra $2,500 at tax time. So what does that mean? You can actually borrow an extra $2,500. And again, if you do that before the tax deadline and put it into your RRSPs, guess what? At a 50% tax bracket, you get another $1,250 back. So guess what? You can borrow the extra $1,250, and if you put it into your RRSP before the contribution deadline, you get an extra amount of money back. And on and on and on. And you can keep doing this. So what is the total amount that you can borrow and get that tax refund back so you can pay off the entire loan? Well, as a math teacher here in Alberta, I teach a unit called Sequence Series, and students learn the formula for the sum of an infinite geometric series. And that's sum of infinite amount of terms is equal to a over 1 minus r. And here in Alberta, sometimes we use T1 over 1 minus r for the students watching this. So you can actually use this formula to determine how much you can borrow. So in this example, let's say I wanted to know how much I can contribute in total into my RRSP to pay off that loan. All I would have to do is put in my initial investment, my $10,000, and divide it by 1 minus 0.5, because 50% is 0.5 as a decimal, and it spits out $20,000 when you do this. So that means you can put in $20,000 into your RRSP and pay off the loan in full. So you've already contributed $10,000. So that means what you'll do, you'll go to the bank, you'll borrow $10,000. You'll put that into your RRSP. You'll borrow it for 1 or 2 months. When you get your tax refund, you'll get $10,000 back. And guess what? You pay off that loan in full. Now, this formula does terrify some people. Some people aren't as excited about math as I am. So Talbot Stevens has created a calculator to do all the work for you. So if you enter your initial investment, so that in this case it was $10,000, put in the tax bracket that you're in, and in this case it was 50%. And when you click calculate, it tells you that you can put in a total of $20,000, just like the formula did. So for example, let's use some different numbers. Let's say you had $15,000 to invest at a 30.5% tax bracket. So that means in total you could put in $21,583. So you would go to your bank and borrow $6,583, and when tax time comes, you would get back $6,583, and you just pay off the loan that you just had in full. I really like this strategy. The number one mistake, if you watched my video early on RRSPs, is that people will spend their tax back from their RRSP contribution. And that is a huge mistake. It just makes the RRSP one of the worst accounts that you can have open. So with this strategy, one, you contribute a lot more to your RRSPs. You saw with the $10,000 example, you were able to put in $20,000 instead. With this new example, you had $15,000 to put in, but instead you put in $21,500. That's great. You're catching up a lot faster. The second reason I really like this strategy is because you're forced to pay off the loan. You get your tax back and you pay off your loan right away. There's no temptation to spend the money. You've essentially taken your tax back and you've put it all into your RRSP already. And now you just have to pay off the loan. You're not tempted to buy a new couch, a new iPad, whatever it is that you're tempted to buy. So I hope this video has shown you how the gross up strategy might benefit you and how you can catch up on your RRSP contribution room. And if you've enjoyed this video and would like to stay informed of some of my others, please subscribe below and have a wonderful day.